Let me go through slightly our experiences with something that we call LoCard data. So it's the Finnish S Group grocery chain loyalty card data. We have a multidisciplinary group from the University of Helsinki and Tampere. See if this works. Just conflict, the potential conflict of interest. I'm a member of S Group Advisory Board for the society responsibility. We get no payments. We get one white lunch with water every year in our meeting. But I just wanted to say this. This opens up the door to data. Without this session, I don't think we would have the data. Here's the leaders of our group. We have two nutritionists, myself and Mikael from the University of Helsinki. We also have a social psychologist, Hanna Konttinen, from the University of Helsinki, and Tampere University consists of biostatistician with professor in biostatistics, Jaakko Nevalainen, and professor of marketing, Hannu Saariaari. So we are combining biostatistics, marketing, social psychology, and human nutrition. It's interesting and important, but it also makes problems when you submit your papers because there are always one or two of the reviewers who don't understand anything what you're doing. And I come back to that in one comment later on. So we are looking at grocery purchases. We are not looking at shop and chain-based sales or household planners, passport, and we are looking at the loyalty card data. It's automatically connected data. There are some advantages and some disadvantages here. So with this, we get information of foods and food groups. We have already connected our foods or food groups. We don't have brand name. That's the S Group doesn't have a brand name. So we know sugar sweetened beverages, but not in Coke or Pepsi. But still, we have linked those to the carbon footprints of Finnish Research, Natural Resources Research Institute, and we have linked that to the dietary composition of the Finnish nutrient composition database, and of course, price we get immediately. That's, by the way, one strength that Fredrik did not mention, something that you don't get from dietary records. We started with this a few years ago. We had the pilot data from the south part of Finland. So S Group, the Finnish food market is very concentrated. That's an advantage from this research. The consumer don't like it, but that's an advantage for the research. The S Group is the biggest. It covers 47. Its market share is 47%, and it covers the whole Finland. And it's not directed towards the upper class or lower class. It's a very kind of general. So everybody can afford to buy from the S Group groups. They gave us a pilot data, which was 15,000 participants. It's interesting in this area, we talk about pilot data. We only got the kilograms of food bought and the price. We just played a little bit around with the data. It was more kind of a biostatistical exercise. We could not really produce anything essential other than understand the main problem at the beginning. And the main problem was in the group categorization. We got a 9-class group categorization, which was based from the retailer's viewpoint. So where the foods are in the shop. And sometimes it was much too detailed. I mean, from the nutritional point, it doesn't matter whether beer is cold or room temperature. But it matters whether you have processed meat or processed meat or plant-based meat alternatives. They were in the same group. And then the different temperatures and can and bottles of beer and soft drinks were different. So we had to make a new regrouping from the nutritional viewpoint. We did that when we got the next wave. The next wave covered years from September 2016 to December 2018. The S Group sent an email to their customers who had the loyalty card. We couldn't do that because we are not in contact with the customers and we don't get any personal information. But they sent the email and they gave the consent, and by giving the consent, they also had a possibility to answer questionnaire. It was a pretty detailed questionnaire. parts of it, we made 3 different questionnaires, except for the basic background information. And we randomized these questionnaires. So it was 36,000 answered the questionnaire, so 12,000, for instance, got the food frequency record and so on. We think this enrichment with the questionnaire makes this unique. Without this, of course, we would have more bigger data. The concept, by the way, was not only our idea, it was also the retail, so that no data without the concept. Yeah, so for this one, we have about 47,000 participants for cardholders and 36,000 answers to the questionnaire. It's more than 2 years. And we have not only the kilos, but we also have so we have the money and the kilos that the food. We built a 4-class classification system, meaning that it's up to the 4 classes, not for all groups. We need the 4 classes, but this is just an example. So dairy is the least granular class and goes to more granular dairy, cheese, liquid milk. Then you have cream, skim, semi-skim, whole, and other. And from semi-skim, you have semi-skim milk and semi-skim sour milk. So this gives us possibility to combine the classes as we want. For the least granular class, we have about 40 classes. Altogether, we have more than 3,000 different items here. We have analyzed how this works because our intention was to reduce the nutritional heterogeneity within one group. And we have analyzed this by using something called the nutrition profiling system. So it's an equation that you put it in the end, or I would say that it's a calculation of the nutrient density in a certain food or certain food. And what we see, if you go to cereal and bakery products, you see it's very wide. The nutritional profile is very wide. If it's positive, it's on the right. If it's more unhealthy, it's on the left. But then when you put it to smaller classes, it gets narrower. And still, if you get breakfast cereals and divide them low fiber and high fiber, it's still a little bit narrow. So I think we've been able to show that this works the way that we. The representativeness was already mentioned by Frederick, and that's a challenge. Out of the card holders, 65% are women, or out of the card holders who gave the consent, 65% are women. They are from households that are smaller than Finland on average, and they are very much more educated. It's about the same things that you would get from any national representative sample, but it's still a little bit more biased. The good thing is that we have so much background information with the questionnaire so that we can weigh the population. And we can weigh it according to these kind of a core background information to make it representative to the population based on these. Of course, we can't make it totally matching, but matching with this. And this works pretty well because you see here the original results. For instance, the share from all purchases of red meat was 11.3%. Now, when you weigh that, it's 12.1%. Why? Because men eat more meat than women. And when you weigh this, you get then a higher share of meat, which makes very much sense. All the other corrections also makes sense in this viewpoint. So it is biased, but you can correct it to a certain extent. We have also published a validation study comparing the food purchases to the cardholders' food frequency. It's a simple food frequency, 38 food groups, and we have the matching food groups from our loyalty card data. And you see that the correlation between these two, they're there. Very strong for margarine, skim milk, butter, sweets, and processed meat, and the weakest for cooked and canned vegetables, wheat bread, berries, and vegetables oil. We can't explain them all, but this is what you would see if you compare the food record against food frequency. You see the same thing. It's not perfect, but it tells something. And we are not interested in individuals. So on group level, of course, this works better. We can also see, by the way, as pointed out by Frederick, that single households have better correlation for obesity than two adult children. And the more they buy from the shop, the higher the degree of loyalty. They are kind of a super clients. They have higher correlations because they have a bigger share. We had decided to use either above 60 or above 40% in our studies. So those who just purchase less than 40, we never use it in analysis because they are very unreliable. We have studied just a couple of examples what we have studied, and in the end, this is something that we are very excited about. The reviewers were not excited about this because this was published in the 9th paper. The reviewer of American, or the editor of American Journal of Clinical Nutrition said that this is so complicated that our readers don't understand. Anyway, we looked at the dominant protein source from 1 week throughout the 2.3 years. And the red line means red meat, and then the green is plant-based, yellow is poultry, and blue is fish as a dominant what they bought mostly during 1 week. If they buy red meat on 1 week, 85% probability they buy it next week. Lower probabilities for the other. If they buy red meat, what's the probability of buying something else? On the week they don't buy it, the highest probability is that they buy poultry, then fish, then plant. What about the plant protein groups? Plant protein dominant customers. When they don't buy plant, they buy fish. If not fish, then poultry. If not poultry, then red meat. What we did here shows that the purchases go step by step. It's rare to jump from meat to plant. It goes through the kind of natural route. Then we have also looked at the carbon footprint. We have analyzed these purchase patterns by principal component analysis, and we have found different kinds of purchase patterns and looked about on the prices of the patterns and the carbon footprint. And of course, the modern animal-based pattern has the highest carbon footprint, and of course, the stronger the plant-based pattern is, the lower the carbon footprint. But the interesting is that even when they buy these kinds of, if they have a strong tendency towards junk food, processed food, in fact, the carbon footprint goes down because this is connected to lower meat consumption. You know, and the traditional includes some meat, but it doesn't include beef, but pork, and not too much of that. And that's why this also goes towards the lower. By the way, this was the cheapest of all the patterns. This was the most expensive, but this was about as expensive as the animal-based. So this is a way to analyze the connection between the carbon footprint price and patterns. And this is my final slide. This is something new. We have not published this so far, but it's under review. We are interested in the price. We have looked at price per kilo, also per megajoule, and the connection between price and proportion in energy or proportion in purchases in 5 different perceived income adequacy. So how well do you do economically? What we see is that regardless of the food groups, those who are better economically, they buy more expensive things than those who are less well. But the interesting thing is, how are these related to the proportion of purchases or megajoules? And we see that those with lower perceived income adequacy, they have a higher consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages, snacks with chocolates and red processed meat. I'll leave you with the conclusion. We have started the data collection for the third data way, we got a major grant from the Academy of Sciences in Finland, and the S Group is just now sending emails to about 2 million Finns. They respond less, by the way, than last time, but they had more emails. So we think that we hope to get to the 40,000, 45,000 as in last time. We have 3 work packages. We are looking at more the analytical approaches to analyze food purchase patterns. So from a biostatistical viewpoint, we are looking at 2 main food system disruptions during these years, the COVID and the inflation that we now have during the Russia-Ukraine war. And we are looking at the interventions. We have worked together with the S Group an app that gives the consumers feedback of the nutritional content of their purchases. And we want to see who are those who use this, what were their food purchases from a health viewpoint before they started to use the app, has the app changed anything? But these are the 3 work packages we are working with. And now at this moment, I'm quite busy answering all kinds of comments that we get from potential customers. Like, nice that they explain to us that their food purchases do not represent what they actually eat, but we are still happy with that. Thank you so much.